Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Championship Leadership Podcast and a little special series. We got Paul Casey. He's been on the show before. He came through a different program of ours, Championship Leadership 24 Hours, CL24. You may have heard of it. You may have seen or heard the episode before with Paul. But Paul came back through another program of ours, the ULW experience in Nashville, and much different experience to CL24, and wanted to bring him back on and just talk about his experience and what he got from it and what he learned and you know what he might be able to tell anyone else that's out there listening, thinking about taking their life to the next level. So first of all, Paul, thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for
having me. It's good to be here, man. Good to see you.
Absolutely. So Paul's out of the Bay Area in California. Give us a little bit of your background, because you have a incredible story, and so maybe let's start there first.
Well, I grew up in a broken home. Mother was addicted to drugs and alcohol. Father was physically, emotionally abusive, and in my early teens, I decided to head down the wrong path. Started using drugs, and at the age of 15, I started getting incarcerated. And I was pretty much raised in the system, juvenile hall, boys' homes. Once I was 18, I started going to county jail, went to prison for the first time when I was 19, got out, was only out for 9 months, and then did a crime that landed me 10 years in prison. So I did 10 years. From the age of 22 to the age of 33, I was in California state prisons. And during that time, I slowly started to evolve as a human being. I slowly started to become a better person. There wasn't until my last year that I really dove into a lot of personal self-development. I got off of drugs and alcohol, and I just really started working on myself. And I developed a plan, and I established and wrote down some goals for when I got out. And my goal was to become a personal trainer to help people get fit, get healthy, and eventually start my own business. And so I'm coming up, I'm short of 3 years. It's almost been 3 years that I've been out. And in the time I've been out, I've been able to get certified as a personal trainer, as a group fitness instructor, as well as several other smaller certifications that just help me in the fitness industry. I've been able to land an amazing job. I just celebrated 2 years at Orange Theory Fitness, which is like an amazing opportunity to group fitness, So I've been working for them a little over 2 years now. And last August, I started my business. And I started it before last August, but as of last August, it was officially a business. I owned my own business, I started it in March, actually, when the pandemic hit. I started just doing, some at-home workouts for people and meeting people at parks and training there at parks. And it's just progressed since then. So continue with my personal development. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I follow a lot of motivating people. And so that's how I met you, Nate, was someone actually sent me Zach's TikTok and was like, this dude hella reminds me of you, So I checked him out. I went and, listened to one of his podcast interviews, and it was happened to be the one with you about the CL24. And oh man, before I even knew what I was getting myself into, I went home and signed up. Didn't even know what it was about. Just that, having those 24 hours with you was an amazing experience, And so as soon as I knew about the ULW, I made arrangements to get there. Yeah. I'm a firm believer in investing in myself, because the more I invest in myself, the more I can invest in others. I spent a lot of years doing negativity, putting a lot of negativity out there into the world. And today I want to do the complete opposite. I want to bring a lot of positivity to the world, a lot of love and peace to the world. And in my own way, I'm able to do that through health, through fitness, through mindset coaching, and that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, I appreciate that. And it's an incredible story, man, to come back from where you were. And, we know it's not easy, even if you haven't been through it. Just when you see the numbers of people that end up with similar stories to you that end up going to prison, and they just, for whatever reason, they're just not able to turn that ship around. And so I know it's not easy, and it's, man, it's awesome to see you doing what you're doing. So congrats to you for that, brother, and keep it up, man.
Thank you.
So yeah, I love what you said. So you signed up for the CL24 before you even knew what it was, which was probably a good thing, right? You might not have signed up had it.
I would have still signed up. I it was going to happen regardless.
Well, that's what I love about you. It's because that's also sets you apart from other people. Is not everybody sees the importance in investing in yourself and having other coaches and mentors, and and to invest in yourself to other programs. It's an investment of not just time and energy, but of money too. And if you can't see what that investment's going to give you on the other side, right, that return, then for a lot of people, it's just it's something that would stop them from doing that. So maybe talk a little bit. What was the progress for you? Because I remember the first few times that I really invested in myself, and it kind of like it started a little bit low, and then it ultimately, like, I've made some significant 5-figure investments in myself, and it was a progression, and every time it was scary because of where I was at that time, but you continue to. And every time I've made sure that I got the return on what I was getting. And I know we just talked, and we'll get into it, but we talked a little bit before we started, all the things that you've started to do already just from ULW and how you've put that into play for your life. Like that, why wouldn't you do that? Right. And again, it's, sometimes people make those investments and they don't go and implement. So talk to me, like, what was it an easy decision for you to start investing in yourself, to continue to grow and to do what you're doing today? Or was that a challenge for you? Or talk about that journey.
It was kind of a challenge. Well, certain parts of it were a challenge for me, right? So, like, I knew I wanted to be in the personal training in the fitness industry and stuff. So, like, investing in that program was worth it. Investing time and money into going to school was worth it to me. Like, the tangible things seemed worth it to me. When the pandemic hit and the world shut down and I couldn't go to work, I had to start building a business. Like, I would go to like the free webinars and I'd get like the free books and I would read them and I'd show up to that webinar and I would, take notes and I would do all that stuff, but like actually investing money into getting someone to help me reach my goals, that was scary, right? And especially in the middle of the pandemic, this was like the scariest time because I wasn't going to work consistently. I was starting to build a business, but I wasn't making like a lot of money where I could just spend thousands of dollars, but I also, and now, in hindsight, I'd seen this post one time that a buddy of mine posted, and it said, if you don't need help getting there, your dreams are not big enough, right?
Yeah.
And that right there, now it resonates to me, right? Because like, I think there's a lot of people out there, we have these self-limiting beliefs that we want to get to this certain place and just stop right there.
Yeah.
I think Mike Young said this during the ULW. He said, progress, you shouldn't have an end in sight. It should be a constant evolution of growth,
yeah.
And that's where I'm at. And that's where I was at when I hired my first coach, and I hired a business coach in the middle of the pandemic. Like, I thought to myself this, I said, if I'm doing this good on my own, how well can I do? Like, I'm going to do amazing with a coach, with someone who knows what to do. Like, I'm just reading books and getting all the free stuff and I'm just doing pretty well, So once I did that, like, everything skyrocketed and business is business. So of course it's a roller coaster. There's good months, there's bad months, but there's consistency, right? And even on the bad months, there's feedback that I'm learning from and growing and able to become better at what I'm doing. But like you said, we were talking about like a return on investment, like if I spend X amount of dollars and I make that money back, then anything after that is basically a profit.
Right.
And not just that, money wise, not just monetary, but we're talking like knowledge too. Like the money you spend, that knowledge can be beneficial for the rest of your life,
Yeah. 100%. Absolutely. So, let's talk a little bit about, what was ULW, which stands for, by the way, for those listening, Unleash the Leader Within experience. What was the ULW experience like for you?
Oh, it was awesome. I loved it because you brought a lot of different people from different areas that I hadn't even thought of. Okay. So for me, like, I've been working with a business coach, right? So he's got a team, he's got a business, he's the head business coach. He's got a marketing guru. He's got a content creator coach, he's got a delivery coach that teaches how to deliver systems and systemize things. Like, these are different areas regarding business, but there was a lot of stuff that you brought that was like, There's, a few people like financial, there's a lot of financial stuff that was brought in, which is awesome because like in building a business, you're making money, but like if for me, okay, I'm just using myself as an example.
Yeah.
My goal is not to use my business to get rich. My goal is to use my business to help as many people as I can.
Yeah.
Then turn around and take that money and invest it in other areas so I can get rich, right? Like I want to live a healthy, happy life. Like, I want to set my kids up. Eventually, I don't have no kids yet, but eventually when I have kids, like, or my girlfriend, like when I marry her and she has 2 boys, like I want to be able to set them up for success when I'm no longer here. And if I eventually have a kid or 2 or whatever that might, life might bring me, like I want to be able to set them up for success as well. So I want to leave a legacy behind. And I want that legacy not just to be about monetary, but to be about being of service to others. So like, I really loved the financial information. Another thing we didn't even start talking about on top of the fund and growth stuff, but I also started investing, right? And I don't really know what I'm doing, but like, I'm just putting money in that I wouldn't miss, know? Yeah. And like, I just cut some small things out of my life that I don't need. Like, I don't need to Uber Eats or DoorDash as much. Like, I'm easy to use the excuse. Like, I'm on front of my computer working for hours building a business. Let me just order some food real quick. Yeah. I don't need to do that. Like, there's better ways to go about spending my money, Yeah. And so I started investing, and these are like just small things I would never even thought of, like my idea was like, oh, investing is for like rich people, but that's how people get rich, by investing. That's how they got there to begin with, Yeah. So I found a lot of value there. And then I found a lot of value with, I really liked Dave Albert. I really liked what he brought to the table, right? He brought a lot, and this man, he's been through some stuff, and to see like what he's been through and what he's accomplished, like it put a lot of ideas in my head, Yeah. I've got the book right here. Like, it's not far from my working station. I love it. It's not like this is not collecting dust in my bedroom or somewhere.
It's a journal, by the way, for those listening.
It's nearby because I'm putting this stuff in, step by step. We learned about the HELOC, right? And I'm not in a place right now to purchase a home, but learning that education and that knowledge I've already shared with my girlfriend, because she's quite a bit ahead of me on whether she's going to purchase a home or whatnot. I've shared that information with her, and we've already looked into it. It's crazy too, because I was out to dinner with some friends about 2 weeks ago. And one of my friends happens to be a banker, right? And I'm talking to my other friend about a HELOC, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. And I reach over to, hey, excuse me, I didn't interrupt your guys' conversation, but don't you work at a bank? She's like, yeah, I've been working here for X amount of years. I'm like, what you know about HELOC? And she's like, that's exactly what I do for a living. And I was just like, no way. Boom. That's like, I never even knew this thing existed. And she gave me her card, and now like I've got a connection there for when I'm ready. Like, and another thing you talked about during ULW was like the connections we make with people. Not just the connections we made there, but also being able to realize, like, okay, there's different people in the world that I could benefit, or they could benefit me, not just in business, but in life,
Yeah. So, real quick, for those listening, like Paul Hame talked to us about financing and investing in simple ways to get started, because too many people they think they have to get to a certain place before they can start, and he just breaks it down in such a simple way that just makes a ton of sense. We got Mike Young, the Makeover Master. He talks about branding and messaging, the psychology behind being an entrepreneur and a business owner and getting out of what he calls the vice. Michael Lush talking about the first position HELOCs and how you can pay your home off in 5 to 7 years versus what we've been kind of trained and educated for forever, that you have to have this 30-year fixed mortgage and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars just in interest to buy your home. Dave Albin, like you said, worked with Tony Robbins for years as in charge of running all the fire walks and glass walks. And so he was there in that experience to help us push through some limiting beliefs. And then just the connections, like you said, I mean, world-class connections as a part of this experience, just to kind of touch the tip of the iceberg of what ULW is all about. So maybe talk a little bit about, because it's cool to go to a fun, awesome experience. And hopefully it was a fun, incredible, awesome experience, which I believe it is. But more importantly, like, I really want everybody to go home and implement and take these strategies they've learned. And literally just Michael Lush's, like if you owned a home and you literally implement Michael Lush, like the investment to ULW is literally peanuts, because you're going to go and you're going to be able to save thousands upon thousands of dollars inside of your home with this HELOC strategy. And you're also going to be able to turn that into cash flow with some other strategies as well. So, I mean, just right there, I should be charging a lot more for this experience. But to you, like what are some of the things, because I know we were talking about it, that you implemented into your own life since we've been back? I don't know, maybe it was a few weeks ago or a month ago, something like that.
So like we just discussed my whole life story, you know, with being in prison for 10 years, I got out, you know, less than 3 years ago with my basic 10 years in, zeroed out my credit. So I had absolutely no credit, no good or bad credit, which is, I guess no credit is better than bad credit. But
yeah, right.
It was like I was an 18-year-old again, you know?
Yeah.
And so my line of credit is very low, you know, like I own a business, you know, and I make good money in my business. But in order for me to get a business credit card, I had to put a certificate deposit. It's a secured credit card. I had to put money into it, you know, which is my money. So Mike Lush talked about a place called Fund and Grow, and Fund and Grow helps business owners get funding, get credit, lines of credit, in high lines of credit. Not, you know, like right now I have like 3 credit cards. One's 1,000, one's 650, and one's 500. You know, and that's and like I just got off a call this morning with a guy from Fund and Grow, and he's like, all right, we're going to be looking at 4 to 6 banks. We're looking like at a minimum of 5,000 on each card. You know, and this is like, you know, it's an opportunity for me to basically push my past aside, invest in myself a little bit more. I'm paying this company to help me get these lines of credit, but if I can get these lines of credit and turn around and use that to purchase equipment for a gym, or pay for coaching services to become a better coach, or whatever it might be that I'm going to use this money towards my business, and it's going to be beneficial in the long run, it's going to help my business grow. Right. So I think, like, you know, you mentioned about people, like the amount of money, people not like investing or thinking about like the long haul, you know, like with the HELOC, you know, that save in the long run, that's going to save you double-digit thousands of dollars, you know?
Yeah. 6 figures potentially. Yeah.
Yes. You know, but I think a lot of people don't think that far ahead, you know, and being at the ULW and being able to see quite a bit further ahead and see, okay, what can I do today that might not benefit me tomorrow? It might not even benefit me next week.
Yeah.
2 years down the line, I'm going to sit back and I'm like, damn, I'm so grateful I did that. Because look what it accomplished. Look what it gave me now. Look at the opportunities I've given myself. And 20 years down the line, when I have kids and they're all grown and I'm able to show them this stuff too, like that's the stuff that's important. You know, and I think that being able to see ahead and see, okay, this can start implement this now so that later on it comes back. That's important.
Yeah. I love it, man. So let's wrap this up. We're already a little bit over time, and I know I want to respect your time too, but we got the next one coming up. We're adding, we're continuing to make this thing better. We're doing a fire walk this time. So you missed out on the fire walk, but we're going to be adding that to the next one here for the next group coming through. But you know, what would you say to somebody that's looking into the ULW and is trying to make that decision whether or not it would be right for them? What would you say to help them get off the fence and choose to show up at the next ULW experience?
I would just say that if you're okay with just floating along in life, then maybe this is not the program for you. But if you want to excel in life and become the best version of yourself, you want to become a leader, you want to become just, you know, you want to reach your full potential, then invest in yourself and definitely go meet up with Coach Nate and whoever he brings on, go walk on that fire and become the best version of yourself, because, you know, it's definitely an investment that's worth it.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you being here, man. How can we find out more about you and what you're up to?
I have a website, www.abetteryoufitnessllc.com. I'm also on Instagram at @the_coach_Paul, or Facebook, Paul Casey.
Cool. And you said abetteryoullc.com?
abetteryoufitnessllc.com.
a betteryoufitnessllc.com, and we'll get that all in the show notes too. But I just wanted to repeat that a few times so people could go check you out. I know some of my clients have become your clients as well, and they love the feedback is amazing, and they've had an incredible experience with Paul. So if you're looking to get your fitness, your mindset, your nutrition on the right path and on the right track, then you definitely need to check out my man Paul Casey. So appreciate you being here, brother.
Likewise, man. You have a great night or
Yeah,
day.
you too.
Bye bye.